How's it going today? Today I want to show you a little bit about horizontal alignments in OpenRoads, how to make them, how to get them ready for plans. All right, let's jump right in. All right, so I have a project here. Typically you're going to have a survey file in the background. I'm going to go ahead and take the presentation mode and turn on level overrides, just so everything's kind of grayed back so we can see what we're working with here. In this first example, I want to draw a profile right along this road. You can see I already have a resolved center line I can just grab easily. To do that, I'm going to go to my feature definition bar. I'm going to make sure that this box is checked right here. I'm going to click on alignment, Peabot alignment centerline, make sure I'm in the OpenRoads modeling, click on the geometry tab, and then click on the line between points. Now I can now snap between here and here pretty easily. Now if I want to see if it came in correctly, I can hit my element annotation. You now see I have the stationing on there. So that's kind of one way you can draw this in. Another thing you can do is you can copy this line into your drawing. You can see now it's a white layer. And I can actually now complex this line, even though it's only one line, complex it. And when I complex by element, it's going to turn it into a feature definition. So a good way to check is if it's an OpenRoads feature is, can I annotate it? Click on this element annotation, try to annotate it. There's nothing to annotate there. I can also open up my properties bar, click on that line. You can see a couple ways it's telling me it's not an OpenRoads line. That gray line right there. Additionally, if I have a OpenRoads line, the OpenRoads line will have this feature box in here. So I know when I click on this one, no feature box, click on this one, feature box. All right, another way, like I was saying, is I can go to my geometry tab, click on the complex by element, select the element, and then left click to accept. And now let's try that again with the feature definition. You can see the feature definition bar popped up, and I can also annotate it as well. Two different ways you can do that. Okay, so those are just really simple geometries. What if I want to do a little bit more complicated one where I need to complex it? Now I can draw in multiple lines by clicking on this line between points. I can draw one line in here, one line in here, one line in here, and I can complex those together. Two different ways I can do this with the automatic feature. For these simple ones, the automatic is going to work. Now you can notice that as I hover over here, there's an arrow that is being highlighted. And so I just want to make sure that's going in the right direction. 0.1 gap is what's recommended, but you may need to adjust that depending on how your lines are set up. So I can click on that, and then it's saying accept complex, left click here, and then now I have a complex line. Again, click on that, see my feature definition bar, can I annotate it? You can see the annotation is right in there. What if I wanted to add in a curve? Now I can draw in a line, I can draw in arc between points, start and pass through is my current method, start and pass through. Persistent counter, and there we go. I can also draw another line on the other side of that if I would like. And then, just like before, I can complex these together. This time I'm going to do the manual. You got to make sure each one is the correct direction. Right click, left click, reset to complete. Okay, so now I have a geometry that's complex together, and I can annotate this for my centerline geometry. There are a lot of other different line to elements, so these would be if I wanted to draw from a curve to something else or from a curve. There's all sorts of things you can do in here with the arcs and the lines. The main two you're going to want to use are the just regular line between points and then the arc between points. One other thing you probably want to know about is the complex geometry. This I find to be extremely efficient. Instead of having to draw multiple lines together and then complexing them together, I can actually complex it as I'm drawing. So to do that, you click complex by PI, and then make sure that your radius is set to whatever you want. You might want a radius of 0, which is what I'm going to do here. And you can just click points here, and then now it's automatically complexed. So it's pretty powerful, pretty easy way to do stuff. Now, what if I wanted to do that same thing with curves? I can add in curve here, draw, got a radius of 10. I'm going to have my next radius be 30, and my next radius be 200. So there's lots of different ways you can adjust this. So far I've been showing you how to complex when you have existing elements that are OpenRoads elements, you can actually complex smart lines together like we did on that first example. If I just draw in smart line, another smart line, maybe I even want to draw an arc, start and mid, I can now complex these together even though they're not currently OpenRoads features. Complex geometry, I'm going to click on my complex by element, select, 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 reset to complete, right click. And now it's a OpenRoads alignment. Now one thing you'll notice though, on this one that I created, it's giving me these little handles, and I can adjust the length and change things as I want to. But on this one, I don't have those same options. So what can I do here? There's a couple different ways you can actually have OpenRoads rebuild this, and hopefully those come in. They don't always work, but usually it does. If I click on this, on the simplified geometry, locate element, say no. Now it actually was able to figure out what those elements, how they were created, and it kind of rebuilds it in a way that you can now edit stuff. So I would highly recommend doing that simplified geometry. I'm going to draw this in one more time real quick. Now I have that same issue where I don't have that orange line work. Similarly to the simplified geometry, if I open it up in the table editor, it does something really similar. Just hit apply, and now I close it up, and it basically simplifies it by just opening it up in the table editor. So I would highly recommend messing around with that feature. A couple more little tricks I would like to show you. I'm going to match feature definition here. Say I draw in complex by PI, radius is set to 0. Got several little lines here, and I realize that I actually want to have a curve in here. Do I have to rebuild the entire alignment, or can I add in a curve? You can actually add in a curve after the fact. To do that, you click on the arcs and do arc between elements, simple arc. This is where it's a little bit tricky. You can see in the handle it says locate first element, alt to pick components of the complex. Now we need to pick components of the complex. I'm gonna hit alt. See, when I hit alt, it now switches to just highlighting that piece. And second, and now it's asking me what the radius is going to be. I'm going to do 100-foot radius, and I can click that right there. That's a really handy trick. Now, what if I want to get rid of that same curve? Now, to do that, I can use my delete vertex. If I click on a vertex here, I'll remove that vertex. If I click on a vertex in the curve, it will delete the curve. I can also similarly insert a vertex by adding that in here, here. Still use your 7-7 command, just like before, to insert, or a 7-8 command to remove a vertex. If I was just starting out in a project and I wanted to draw a centerline alignment for this particular street, I'd want to probably make sure that they're centered between the right-of-way. I'm just going to draw this in kind of freehand to show you. The way I would do this typically is I would draw a complex by element, either with a curve in here or just simple lines. The way I would draw this is by using the complex by PI, either with a curve or just by centerline points. All right, let's look at a more complicated drawing here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to change my presentation again, turn on my level overrides. In this project, my centerline is going to run through here. There's going to be some curves through here. It's going to be quite complicated and tricky. So how would I go about doing that on a project this complicated and curvy? What I would do on this project is I would center between my right-of-way, but I would draw in my lines with just smart lines. And I would draw exactly where it's going to go. And then if I need to draw in a curve of some sort, I would draw in the curves. And then I would go ahead and just complex everything together. Instead of trying to draw this in with OpenRoad alignments, I think you're actually better off drawing it complex by element. Try the automatic, see if that works. And then once you've complexed it with the complex by element, it should turn into the correct feature definition. And you should be able to see your feature definition here. You should also be able to annotate. All right, I hope that helps you out with your horizontal geometry. I'll do another video on annotating geometry. I hope this helps you out. Have a great day. Thanks.